Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the special edition of the John Campea Show. John is currently flying through the air in a plane. Ooh. And he should be back here tomorrow to do the show. But today, it's a little bit of your Batman Beyond crew here to walk you through everything. We're so happy you're joining us so we can talk about movies, TV, streaming, all sorts of good things with you. I've got with me Robert Meyer Burnett.
Hello. Do you think that John, when he got on that plane, he said, "Plane on"?
I hope so.
If he did, I think everyone would be like, "Oh, let's get him a pillow."
Yeah.
I would have said, "Plane on," and looked at the crowd of people in the plane who didn't respond at all.
I love that. We also got Jonathan here.
I'm here.
Hey, Jonathan Boyko. How you doing?
I'm not flying.
You're not flying? No.
Yeah, but I'm here.
Nor am I. And I'm Chris Carr. I'll be filling in today, and we're going to walk you through all these wonderful topics. Before we do that, though, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So if you would like to listen to this instead of on YouTube in podcast form, maybe you're trying to be sneaky at work. I love that. Go on over to whatever podcatcher you love. Go listen to us there, and please give us some ratings. Give us some reviews. 5 stars, please. Treat us like a really great Uber drive, all right? We would love that. And if you write an actual review, that helps us out, too. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about a couple of these topics. First up, all right, obviously we've been talking about the Captain America 4 trailer ad nauseum. Mm-hmm. We've got a little bit of hope about Red Hulk already continuing to be in the MCU after this. Now, this comes from us, the folks from Games Radar. Harrison Ford has said that he really hopes that Red Hulk is going to be continuing to be in the MCU. He says, "I hope he can come back. I hope there's a story in which he can develop into something other than the Red Hulk. I think we have the capacity to shift shape between Hulkness and humanity, but that's not really my department. I was very happy with the opportunity to play in this playground. What an amazing group of people to work with, and what an imaginative reality. So I was looking forward to having a piece of the action." He goes on to make a tribute to William Hurt as well, who obviously passed, saying, "I'd like to think the character was a great fit for me. I was honored to be able to do my work on top of a foundation that the wonderful actor Bill Hurt provided for the character. And the story is a wonderful extension of the stories that Thunderbolt Ross has been part of. I've watched Marvel movies and seen actors I really liked, really admired, have a great time. And I thought, hey, I want me some of that." And when it came to his approach for playing a giant red monster, he just went for it and nobody stopped him. Why would anyone?
That's a very Harrison Ford statement.
Is,
That's the least stoned Harrison Ford statement I've heard in a long time.
I went for it, a lot of finger pointing.
Does that mean that he can be Red Hulk and sit behind the oak desk or whatever in the Oval Office?
They just need a bigger desk.
Are we going to get like Hulk, President Hulk?
There's so many jokes here. I'm just going to skim over. But yeah, we would have a Red Hulk in office before anyone else.
Yeah. Red. We've seen close to red.
Yeah.
But a hues of red, I guess you could say.
For sure.
But,
is he going to transform and just be the Red Hulk?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Right, and stay.
Right? And
or
stay in
Red
it,
Hulk?
or
I feel like
move in
his
and
Red
out.
Hulk is also probably third act.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he gets away, obviously. Or it's just something where it's like he doesn't control and he goes back to the president after that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like once or is there a vice president that's going to become the new president? I have many questions.
I know, I do too. I feel like for me though, and I don't know if you guys feel this as well, it's kind of why would you introduce the Red Hulk only to take him away immediately? I feel like it was kind of a no-brainer that they were going to try to get Harrison Ford to be in these movies for as long as they could get him in these movies.
Yeah.
Was that different for either of you?
The MCU needs a president.
It does.
It needs a president.
Someone we can rally behind.
It has a savior, right? It's Deadpool, but now it needs a president.
Yeah. Makes sense. You got to have both.
I mean, Red Hulk and Deadpool together, a splash of red on the screen.
Oh, dude.
That'd be delightful.
Because I would love to see a Hulk and Deadpool kind of thing. Like, we've seen it in the comics and animation as well.
Sure.
You're probably not going to get it with the Green Hulk now, but you get it with the Red Hulk.
Exactly.
It's,
What is the state of regular Hulk right now as well? Because we still have kind of had family barbecue Hulk.
Yeah, he's barbecue.
Yeah,
that was like the last time
we
saw Hulk, sort of. Mm-hmm. Family barbecue Hulk, who has a son.
Who
somehow got to Earth.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Long commute. Public transport.
Don't know. I just know that we should have
my commute.
Yeah.
Do you know in Secret Wars, because it's owned by Disney, right? Mm-hmm. You could de-age Harrison Ford because they did a good job in Dial of Destiny.
They did. One of the few good things.
You could have Han Solo. You could have Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. You can have Thaddeus Ross, President Hulk, and whatever else, all on Battle World
Damn.
fighting.
But would you want it?
I kind of feel like Rob does. I think
At this
Rob is actually
point,
pitching this.
I just don't care.
Well, because to me, it's does that make a great story, or is that like a game of Fortnite then, where I've just put a bunch of skin mods on everybody?
I've played Fortnite games that were better than some of the movies I've seen in theaters lately.
That is very fair.
I mean, I always die fragged by some 11-year-old, but still, it was a great story while it lasted.
It's true. Okay, so Hulk is a third act part for you, Jonathan.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that comes later.
For you as well, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and the thing is, I am not necessarily looking forward to everything about. The more I see these trailers, I'm really more interested in the geopolitical situation.
Me
of it
too,
all.
and I feel like
Like I don't. The battle between Falcon and Red Hulk seems to me. I mean, he's president of the United States and he's Red Hulk. Does he mean he's an evil monster as a Red Hulk that is going
he
to
just loses control.
lose?
I think
Yeah,
it's
and I'm just like,
hilarious.
I don't. To be honest, I don't care
Yeah.
about that. I want to see a Winter Soldier-esque. All this plotting. I wanted to see them deal with Tiamat and Arishem the Judge.
Yes.
All this, the world's going to war, and you've got Gus Fring out there selling drugs in the chicken stores. You know, I mean, I want to see
The
that.
crossover we deserve.
I want Giancarlo Esposito to kick ass.
Same.
You know, I want to see geopolitical shenanigans. I want this to be the Tom Clancy techno thriller it should be. I want this to be the Hunt for Red October meets
yeah.
Winter Soldier.
So what you're saying is you don't want Giancarlo to be the next Crossbones,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, 'cause
where he's just in it for like a minute. And
I got
then-
really excited about the possibility of him being like a Charles Xavier. And so
Right.
this needs to be he's such a tremendous actor. Please, Marvel,
they
don't
don't-
do the monster of the week, villain of the week.
I hope they
thing.
don't underscore him and then over, because honestly, I felt like the Red Hulk thing was like, well, people won't just come back for another political intrigue. We've got to have a big bad, so let's also have the Hulk, which I'm sure it was not just thrown together like that. But the way they're marketing it is like, look at Red Hulk and him are fighting. Red Hulk, and it's like, guys, I think Red Hulk is going to be saved for like late
Red Hulk,
movie.
more like a
And
red
If
herring.
you're not ready for a political intrigue film, yeah, exactly.
And that means
you
Moff
go.
Gideon could be on Battle World
There
along
we
with,
go.
you know. No, I just think that I'm actually more excited about Brave New World as it gets closer because of all these new. I watched a really interesting long scene. There was it was before some YouTube video I was watching, and there was like a 2-minute, an actual scene of Harrison Ford talking and talking to Steve Rogers, talking to Sam Wilson about the state of the Avengers, putting the Avengers back together.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, how is it taking them this long to have this conversation in the MCU? Put the Avengers back together. I want you to lead them. And it was a really interesting conversation. I'm like, well, if the movie's like this, I think I'm going to like it. I think I'm going to like this movie.
I think we kind of felt like this was piecing together a lot of those questions that we had for so long. What's up with the dead celestial in the ocean?
Right.
Where are the Avengers? Why do you keep adding new characters that we never see again and we don't know what's going on? Who's
Yeah.
on the lunchbox? So,
Where's Man-Thing?
so I do hope that's what this
Where
movie
is
is.
Ted?
Where is he?
Oh.
Aw.
I mean, and
I just want a whole movie about Man
He's with
Thing.
and what does he look
Werewolf by
like in
Night.
color?
Well, you've seen that.
You've seen him.
I know.
He looks like a fry kid.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget Kevin Feige did produce a Man-Thing movie that was directed by Brett Leonard, who directed Lawnmower Man and the brand new DVD or Blu-ray release Feed. Everyone forgets that there was a Man-Thing movie directed by the
Forget,
director.
I never knew. I feel
Virtuosity and the Lawnmower Man director Brett Leonard.
R&B.
There you go.
I missed you for a multitude of reasons, but I always get educated when I'm around you. Thank you so much.
That's what I do.
Oh, man. Well, guys, let us know what you think. Is it kind of a no-brainer to you that Red Hulk was going to continue to be in here? Or are you surprised to hear that Harrison Ford is down for more? Let us know what you think his involvement's going to be in Captain America 4 and all that good stuff. All right, with that down, let's move on to this. So, I don't hate the Eternals as much as other people
I don't
do.
either.
Okay, amazing.
I
think it's
really,
a very
actually, to be
interesting
fair, I
take,
really
buddy.
I'm
like
not
the
a hater of
Eternals.
the movie.
Wonderful. Oh, this makes me so happy, guys, because I feel like that movie just unfortunately got teed up right after, we had Endgame and everything, and everyone just had wild expectations, and they weren't ready for new teammates.
I liked it for how different it was.
I thought it was really interesting and asked some really cool moral ambiguity questions.
Like, John and I talk about how we both love Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
I love Man of Steel more as a science fiction first contact movie than I do as a Superman movie. And I kind of feel the same way about Eternals. I like Eternals more as a science fiction film, but I don't think it's a great MCU
movie.
Yeah, well, I feel like part of the issue was we got the turn too quickly. We need to fall in love with these characters a little bit more, and then maybe in a movie 2 and a sequel, get a, oh my gosh, this is actually happening?
Yeah.
Mind blown. But that being said, I think Chloe Zhao did an incredible job with it and everything.
Yeah.
And a tremendous director in her own right, of course. Obviously, Nomad is so good and everything. She's an Academy caliber director. She's wonderful. And she's going to be joining up with an incredibly popular franchise
that she loves.
There's going to be a Buffy the Vampire reboot with her at the helm. This is wild to me, but it's such fun pairings. This comes to the folks over at Deadline. So after the 7-season run of Buffy, it's going to get a new chapter in the franchise. This is a follow-up series nearing a pilot order from Hulu with Sarah Michelle Gellar expected to start, reprising her signature role as Buffy Summers. She's also the executive producer on this. Oscar winner Chloe Zhao, a self-professed lifelong Buffy fan, is set to direct the pilot, written by Nora and Lilia Zuckerman, who did Poker Face, which is another tremendous fun show.
Yep.
The reboot hails from Buffy the Vampire Slayer Studio 20th Television and Disney sibling Searchlight TV, where Zhao has been under a first look deal. Now, the Deadline article goes on to say, too, that they haven't started their writer's room yet. They're still in the process of getting all of their writers on board. So this is super early days for this news. We also know that at this time, Whedon is not involved in this.
I would imagine he's not even near.
I'm sure they're not going to he's not going to be near this with a 10-foot pole after all of those allegations
But I
and
bet
everything.
the guy's got to get paid because he created the whole concept.
But her as,
For
the producer,
But-
I
I think they're going to take a big step back away from him.
Yeah.
But fans have been lobbying for this for years. We've had comics and everything too. We've had so many spin-off things like that.
Joss Whedon did write continuation comics.
But now we're finally getting this back on the screen. How are you guys feeling about the reboot? Is this something you're excited about? Or does this feel like an unearned reboot that's kind of tinging on nostalgia?
What say you, Rob?
Well, look, anything can be good. Every franchise IP revival is just one great script away from being awesome. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I've often said on my own YouTube channel that I think that Joss Whedon and his writing staff, and they've brought back a few of the actual executive producers of the original Buffy, are working on this show. So, like Marty Noxon and Frank Kazooie, who directed the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Christy Swanson.
I love that movie.
Look, half the writers in Hollywood are all writing Buffy anyway. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, is basically being written like Buffy. It is probably the writing, Joss Whedon and his team of writers on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel are probably the single most influential that type of writing has influenced all the people writing genre television today, to the point where it makes me want to punch a lot of people in the face. It's like, I know that I get it. You all love Buffy. The fact that they're bringing Buffy back and Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to play like an elder statesman role to a new Slayer. To me, again, it comes down to writing. It can be great. But I've also seen things like the X-Files revival that I was really hoping was terrible.
Yeah.
And they had all the original people involved. And I'm like, how do you F that up? So I think the potential for disaster is enormous with this. However, that said, if we get the Breaking Bad version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or this is the Better Call Saul to Buffy's Breaking Bad, maybe it could be great. And I'm not saying, to me, I'm intrigued, but also there is a bit of, once again, Hollywood creatively bankrupt, going back and getting a show that already jumped 2 networks once before. It went to UPN.
Yes.
And it's, look, I love Buffy. I love Buffy. And I would love to see all the actors bring back everybody. Bring back David Boreanaz, bring back Chris McCarpenter, bring back
Allison Monaghan, or
Alice, and bring back Spike.
right? Yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank on Spike's name? I love Spike. Just bring back everybody.
James
Why
Marsden.
not? Just have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing though is that it's not fully greenlit. They're working on the pilot.
Yeah.
So this is like the old days where you get a pilot, and if it goes to pilot and it's success, then it gets expanded. So at least we know if it's terrible, it's not getting past the 1 episode.
That's true.
Yeah, but I think that this is going to get, a series order.
I would think so.
I and these writers, I love Poker Face. I think the people involved in this would do something interesting. You can't recreate Buffy. It's a different time. But do hellmouths move? Do you have to go back to what's the house?
Are we currently
Did they
in one? Who's
rebuild?
to say?
Did they rebuild it over the same? I mean, who knows?
Well, I love that you brought up Bring Back Everyone, because I also think, in light of all of the allegations and everything that came up, I think you do need to bring Charisma Carpenter back if she's willing to find a way to get that character the justice that it deserved, as opposed to what happened with her on the series. Because it's all supernatural. It's like the MCU, right? No one's ever dead. You can always come back to this. Or
and
figure
Allison
out
Hannigan, right? She's got to come back. You got to bring Willow back.
You have to bring Willow back.
And Brendan.
Justice for Tara, too. Oh, my God.
Everybody.
Yeah. Justice for everyone.
Why not?
Yeah.
They could be ghosts. Look, if they can make a
anything.
new Beetlejuice movie, come on.
They can do this.
They can do this.
Jonathan, were you a Buffy fan?
Oddly enough, you know what? I did follow it for a while in
Yeah.
the 90s. I didn't follow it through all 5 seasons, but I feel like in my mind it was earlier 90s, not 97, because I was a senior, and I feel like when I was watching it, I was like, in my mind, I was like in 8th grade or 9th grade, but apparently I was a senior.
Yeah.
But I watched it for about 3 years, and then once I kind of like got to like 2000, I just stopped watching it. Like there was other things that I was watching Monty Python and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this could be really fun, and I'm actually excited for younger audiences to kind of get into this.
Yeah.
And I feel safer in the writers that, like Rob was mentioning and you mentioned, from what is it, Russian Doll. At least I feel like it's in safer hands than it's just going to be schlock. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think it should be really smart. It should be
By the
really
way,
clever stuff.
and maybe somebody will go back and remaster Buffy properly. It is one of the worst physical media releases ever, and what they put in syndication is garbage. They've got to go back and retransfer, do it right this time, people. That show was done dirty when they put it on physical media and remastered in HD.
That's how I discovered it too, because I knew that there was a musical version. Because '97, I was little.
I forget.
And so, yeah, there's a little gap, but I was a little for Buffy when it first was coming out, and then there was a musical episode. And because, as you all can tell from the everything about me, I was a musical theater kid, and my friends were like, you have to catch up on Buffy and know what this show is about. Loved it. Everything I knew about it before was just, they rotoscoped the Dancing at the Bronze for the X-Men Evolution cartoon series. Like, that was my only connection to the show for the longest time.
Where do we go from here? The battle's done and we kind of won, so we'll shed our victory tear. Tell me, where do we go from here?
So good.
Once More with Feeling is the greatest musical episode of a TV show. And you know what? Again, the writers of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Buffy fans, they had to do their own musical episode, which wasn't good.
Oh, bummer.
I don't care. Everyone else, Star Trek fans love it, except me.
Well, guys, are you excited about this Buffy reboot? Is it something you're looking forward to? Is it something you're skeptical of? Did they get the mustard out? Let us know in the comments below. It's just for Rob. All right, y'all, we are going to get to more topics with you in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to take a little break to thank the sponsors over at PrizePicks. Check them out.
Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. All right, guys, the biggest football game of the year is almost here. And if you're like me, you're looking for a way to make it even more exciting. And that's why I use PrizePicks, the best place to get daily fantasy action. With over 10 million members, it's the easiest and most fun way to play. Here's how it works. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players' projections, and then boom, you're in. You think Patrick Mahomes will go for more than 250 passing yards? What about Travis Kelce rushing for more than 1.5 touchdowns? Pick your lineup in under 60 seconds, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Ann and I have both been playing PrizePicks all season. Let me tell you, it has been a lot of fun. This week, I'm rolling with Saquon Barkley rushing for more than 100 yards and at least 1 touchdown. The best part, even if one of my picks isn't perfect, PrizePicks Flex Play still lets me win. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So download the app today and use the code CAMPEA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
And thank you to PrizePicks for making this episode of the John Campea Show possible. Go check them out, guys. Whenever you use those promo codes, you get yourself a tasty deal and you help us keep the lights on. So we appreciate that. That's nice. All right. So next up, we've got a little bit of news regarding Guy Ritchie's latest film. So this is coming to us from Deadline. We know that we've got some new cast members for Guy Ritchie's Wife and Dog movie coming out. Adding to the cast, Cosmo Jarvis, of course, of Shogun fame, James Norton, Paddy Considine, and Pip Torrens are going to be rounding out the cast here. He's found his 4 principal cast members in those members. Of course, we all remember Paddy from House of the Dragon. Absolutely snubbed
So
for his
good.
work on
I
that
can't
first
believe
season.
One of the biggest Emmy snubs ever.
It was cruel and unusual, and I did not like it. But Deadline goes on to say, details as to the film's plot remain under wraps, though the project is described as a, quote, return to the colorful, backstabbing world of the British aristocracy, quote, end quote, explored by Ritchie in his film and TV series The Gentleman. As previously announced, Benedict Cumberbatch, Rosamund Pike, and Anthony Hopkins lead the ensemble. Production kicked off in the UK today. Now, are both of you big Guy Ritchie guys?
You know, he's hit and miss, but I
Sure.
like his milieu. I mean, I love The Gentleman. You know,
I really liked the series.
the series was great, and so was
Yeah.
the movie. Great. And I'm curious, Wife and Dog, are those people that leave you because you beat them? Is it about a country music song? What does that mean? Wife and Dog.
Wife and Dog.
I think it's like
I mean,
Wife and Dog does
in
feel like a
the Guy
country
Ritchie
lyric.
in the Guy Ritchie universe, that can't be good.
I feel like it's, if we're talking about the aristocracy, it's like talking about everything in its right place. I've got the wife, I've got the dog. I've
Yeah,
got
that's
the
what I was
image,
thinking too.
Oh,
I've got the image, but I'm also a power broker behind the scenes or something like
Sure.
that.
You know what? That's
Thing-
right. I'm in. You just what you just described. I'm in.
King of the elevator pitch, baby.
boom, nailed it.
No, but I mean, look, his whether it's like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or
Love Lock Stock.
yeah, I mean, there's
Even
so
Rock
much
and Rolla.
so much fun.
What makes a Guy Ritchie movie not fire on all cylinders?
When it's too much Guy Ritchie,
Oh, okay.
you know, he goes too far. It gets a little like, you know, he's done a lot of the kind of in that string of early movies. Some were better than others, and they got a little repetitive. But then he goes and does a palate cleanser like Aladdin,
Aladdin
Well,
was so
did
good.
you know? Did you like?
and then King Arthur.
Did you like Ministry for Ungentlemanly Warfare?
I did.
I did.
I liked it.
I did.
I felt like it wasn't as, it didn't get as like deep or you know, it didn't have that ensembleness that I thought it was going to have, like a Lock, Stock or something like
Right.
that, where so many
Yes.
things are culminating to one like climax or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more linear in terms of that, but I enjoyed it.
I did too.
I also have a fond memory of it because I was watching that movie when I got the message the writer's strike had ended. So I was like, oh, good, things are starting to come back. What a great movie.
Well, and this one is also not only going to be directed by Ritchie, but written by him as well. So it should be very immersed in his kind of style and his world building.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything, you know, the Gentleman was so much fun to watch.
Oh, gosh.
When he's firing on all cylinders, his movies are always fun to
Yeah.
watch.
I think a lot of The Gentleman, though, too, was just how incredible Theo James is.
Oh, yeah, the
who's
show.
Just wildly talented.
So great.
And then Vinny doing a very unexpected turn.
I know.
Vinny Jones was killer in that
Killer.
show. Oh, he was so wonderful. Man. So are we excited about this one overall?
It can't hurt with the cast and everything.
Nope.
You
That's
know?
very, very true.
I'm in.
Anthony Hopkins, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. Patty Considine, come
Rosamund Pike.
on. Yeah, that's all good
Oh,
stuff to
Rosamund
me.
Pike.
She's incredible. Oh, man.
I really hope from this series, I hope it's like you want to cut into it, you want to dig into it. It's just so juicy, you know what I mean? Like just such a mood and
Well, hell yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I think one of the ways that
Intrigue.
he can really shine in films too is when you love the bad guys. Like Bricktop is such a fascinating piece of shit.
Yeah.
I love him so much. Oh man, I wish I could just have pigs that I could feed people to. What a time. I'd be able to get so much shit done.
It's true. Well, Mason Verger and Hannibal fed people to pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't watch horror, so.
I don't. And yet, these are my thoughts of like, what could I do to my enemies? Feed them to swine. Well, guys, what a segue. What do you think about this movie? Do you also have these horrible, horrible fantasies? Let us know in the comments down below. Fantastic.
I fantasize a lot about living on the Starship Enterprise.
That makes sense for
That
you.
makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason why I can stay happy most of the time is because then those deep, deep thoughts, I just go, well, push it down, Christine, push it down. Oh, that's neither here nor there, guys. All right. Our big topic, of course,
This is the big one.
the biggin, is that Fantastic Four trailer finally dropped.
Boom.
Oh, now, certain people affiliated with this channel were not thrilled with how this presentation was done. The
No,
lead up to it. Did you guys wake up at 4 a.m. to
No.
watch this?
no.
I just already wake up at 4 a.m. So
I will say I
Well, actually, you go to bed at like 4 in the afternoon.
I go to bed at
That's
8
true.
p.m.
You're-
Thank you very much.
the other
Robert.
day it was like 8:30 and I was falling asleep and I'm like, this is what it's like to be Chris. And
It's
I just
the
like
best
died.
though. Oh my
Because
gosh.
normally I don't fall asleep that early.
Oh, it's magical. 8
I had
p.m.
to s-
bedtime.
I did stay up because you know what I watched last night at 12:01?
What?
I watched Paradise episode 4.
I'm so excited to watch it today.
I'll tell you something. The people that made Lost, I wish that Paradise had come out before Lost because they would have seen really how to do a mystery box story correctly.
Ooh, shots fired.
Wait till you watch.
Take that, JJ Abrams.
I was very surprised by Paradise episode 4.
Oh.
Literally, I was like, it is in 4 episodes. I've had 2 jaw-dropping moments.
I still
Pretty
am
good.
not feeling it like I felt like Silo though.
No, I know.
That's fair.
I know. It's much more. It's lower key.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has nothing to do
But Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
with Fantastic
All right,
Four.
so you guys didn't wait for the announcement. I checked my phone at 4, and then I checked again at like 5:30 and watched everything. I like this trailer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think this is really fun. Did y'all enjoy it?
Yes. I first of all, to me, like, look, we're gonna have to listen to just insufferable amounts of dissection of this trailer.
Oh yeah.
But I thought what it set out to do remember, it's a teaser.
Mm-hmm.
It showed us the world, that sort of Tomorrowland world of the 1960s that the Fantastic Four live in.
Yeah. That
Wait,
classic like burn costume too. It's just
And I love the color palette. I love the way we saw the Baxter Building, the Fantastic Car, I guess. I mean, and of course, everyone's favorite robot with the tape. Herbie
Dude, I love that.
Herbie
That-
with the tape.
Herbie with the tape.
That
So
was
cute.
the tape eyes. That was awesome.
Doom is gonna cut his head off.
What? Jonathan,
Huh?
why
Oh,
can't
I
you
did
let
it
me be happy
again.
for 5
I did
minutes?
it again. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm not thinking about feeding you to pigs.
And the
I'm
thing
not.
looks like the thing.
And he does. People, okay. I already saw people in the comment section on YouTube, on Instagram Reels, and all this nonsense talking about how this looks bad.
I don't know what they're seeing.
I think this is such a wonderful comic book accurate thing. I don't know how else you make something look realistic when a human is entirely made of rocks
Yeah.
and orange.
Yeah, well,
I
he
really
looks
like
just
how he
like the
looks.
thing. For the first time, he's got the big eyebrows. And stuff,
Yes.
like right out of the comics. I mean, here's I don't want to. Here's the thing. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
between people ripping down James Gunn's Superman, and now we're gonna have to listen to people rip down this. I always am caution. I like to caution people. Wait till you see the movie.
Yeah.
Look, you can hate on it all you want, but see it first. The thing about this is I love the tone. What it established for me was, I thought, a great world. What I was not sold on is the cast.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it who said it, but someone just said practical would have been better. Under no certain
We've seen
terms
that.
would
Yeah.
practical be
We've
better.
seen that.
It
And
doesn't work.
Wasn't.
No.
And I am a huge, as are you, huge on practical effects, but not here. It
No.
just looks
It'd be a guy
goofy.
walking around in a suit.
It's the Lou Ferrigno phenomenon.
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
It just
yeah.
doesn't really work as well. But yeah, I'm with you. This is going to get just absolutely chopped to bits. And I've already been guilty of this, right? Of rewatching it just to see what kind of Easter eggs I can find in there,
Yeah.
see the math that Reed is working on, that kind of stuff.
Here's the thing. I mean, I think the thing that everyone's going to talk about, it's the one thing everybody's been talking about since he was cast, is Pedro Pascal. Now, I would have thought, looking at this milieu, one of the great cast shows of all time is Mad Men. Everybody in Mad Men looked like they were in the 1960s. The thing about Pedro Pascal, it's not that I like Pedro Pascal. Ever since we saw him on Game of Thrones, we loved him. I loved him in Equalizer 2 when he's like the villain and his band of merry gentlemen get taken out by Denzel, which is great. But he looks the same now in every one of his roles, with that same stash, his tousled hair. I mean, here he looks more like Reed. But it's just, maybe it'll be, I mean, these characters, they're either Brits, they're foreign, and they don't look like they're from the 60s. I don't, and I need to, and they're all fine. I mean, Vanessa Kirby's great. She'll be a great Sue Storm.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that the characters fit the milieu of the trailer.
Okay.
I mean, Ben Grimm did as
I was
Thing.
going to say Ebon was great.
Yeah.
I love his dialogue and everything. I love his conversation with Herbie and talking about how he's going to show stuff up. I love the little cut too of the most handsome astronaut. Like all of that.
Yeah. No, all that was great. And
In this
the
little
thing
segment, I'm so happy with him.
I'm breaking my own rules. I'm going to hold out because Marvel's done such a great job casting. Like once you see the movie, you can't, like everybody, we were talking about Captain America yesterday.
Yeah, Seraphin's a genius.
Yeah, and Seraphin's a genius, and I don't want to take it away from her. There's a reason they cast these characters. So I'm going to give the movie the benefit of the doubt because I love Marvel casting. I wasn't feeling it the way I wanted to feel it from this teaser trailer, but it's just a teaser trailer.
I will say, though, I think you're being a little extreme on it because when I'm thinking about this era, I'm thinking about season 1 of For All Mankind. And I don't see much difference in these characters from For All Mankind. And that was like 69. I get it was late. It was almost 70s.
Yeah, but dude, For All Mankind, one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
It's a really good one. But this, I don't feel like this is as jarring as, say, like, when you watch, like, what's that Daisy and the Six or whatever that was, where it was, everyone in the show has, like, veneers and is clean, and they are not 1960s, 1970s rockers.
It's very funny that you said it, yes.
The aesthetic works, the hair works and everything. I think Pedro, I feel like, does a little bit of that transatlantic kind of thing when he's being presentational.
Right.
We have dinner together every night at 7 as a family.
Right. Yes.
Which the transatlantic accent is so hilarious too, because it's just nonsense Hollywood came up with so that Brits would watch our movies once we became talkies, because they were like, we don't want to listen to these hillbillies. That's the only reason why we have that affected speech. So I feel like there's little bits of that, and there's not a lot of Johnny in here.
Right.
But again, teaser. So I feel like the next one hopefully will be the one where they earn that first family status for you.
Yeah, and but I love seeing Galactus show up. I love the whole look of this. The production design is chef's kiss. All that stuff is great. You know, the mid-century, the design of the sets, and it was like what Shackman was doing with WandaVision. Those sets were impeccable.
Oh, yeah.
And that I'm very excited. And look, come on. Seeing that
shadow.
Shot, who doesn't get excited for that?
I lost my mind. I was like, holy shit, they were right. He's in here. I did not think they'd pull the trigger on putting Galactus in the teaser.
They had to. No one said flame on or it's clobbering time.
I know. I did have a question for you too, just kind of comic book speculation moment. Who do you think John Malkovich is in this?
I don't know.
Maybe he's just playing John Malkovich.
Is he the Mole Man? I don't know.
He could be the Mole Man. What I saw online is a lot of people are speculating that he's Red Ghost. And like tampering with that same kind of, can I recreate the cosmic event that gave them powers on myself?
Yeah.
Use myself as a lab rat?
Maybe.
I think John was saying
not
Puppet
sure.
Master, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's interesting. I don't know.
It's funny that they would just show him in this. Didn't say anything, just showed him.
Just a shot of, and also
Like,
John
oh,
Malkovich.
There's John Malkovich.
Yes.
But who seems so removed from this film? Like that seems like a shot from The Giver.
Maybe they were like editing 2 different trailers and this shot got mixed in
like,
by accident. Yeah.
But no, I mean,
get
look,
in there.
I'm excited for this movie. What I do like about it is, I will say this. I believe this cast as the Fantastic Four more than I've believed any other cast in any of the 4 previous Fantastic Four movies. From the Corman movie, the 2 Tim Story movies, and then the last Fantastic Four film. These characters look more like the Fantastic Four to me, which I liked. Because, like, I just didn't believe the way... It's funny to say that. I didn't believe the way they looked. Because maybe it's because when I was a kid, I always have seen the Fantastic Four as, like, the adults in the room.
Right.
You know, even Johnny Storm's like your older brother. He's not like a young dude.
Yeah.
And they're more mature. And I always saw that Reed and Sue are parents.
Sure.
Like they're not. And the Tim Story Fantastic Four movie made everybody too young.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, and I'm like young and hot. And I'm like, no. This is a mom. This is like the cool mom.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that that's kind of what they've done here. And I like they're leaning into the family aspects of it all.
Also, the chat pointed out that a lot of things have said that Malkovich is Franklin Storm, playing his dad.
Oh.
I feel like that also gives us room, though, to be another sinister character mixed in with that, though.
Yeah. I mean, look, this was just it was a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
It teased us. I'll tell you one thing. I certainly just love the way it looks and feels.
Yeah.
So, and it feels different than an normal MCU movie.
That too. And
It
we were
felt
just
more
talking about
like the
Eternal,
first
so it
Avenger.
was different.
You know, the first Avenger.
And it's going to feel off-world because it's a different universe. But also, I just feel like we're going to get the same cast of characters complaining, saying the same things. This looks silly. And it's like you saw a minute and 30 seconds of it. Or the Ben Grimm looks fake. Or this. It's like, but they're also going to be there watching the movie. So it's like, whatever.
Sure. That's true.
But yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'll go. I'm not
What
gonna
is
not
the
go.
next trailer going to have to do to fully win you over?
Well, again, okay, like any trailer, I always say whether it's when I was a kid, I would pick up books. I read a lot of horror and a lot of sci-fi. And what got me into reading a book was you'd read the back of the book about what it was about. There had to be something intellectually interesting to me, like some concept, a horror concept. I wouldn't just read, well, there's a killer in town and these people are going to stop the killer. I'm like, that wasn't enough. You had to give me something more, something that was unique.
Like ninjas.
Ninjas are good. Werewolf ninjas. I'm like, okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, then I would read that. But so for this, it's like, I know I'm getting a Fantastic Four movie, but I'm like a John Byrne, Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four guy. I need to know that there's a story here that has an interesting twist to it, that so it isn't just going to be your typical superhero fare that we've seen over and over and over again.
I think they're leading that way. It was very subtle. Did you notice that one spot where Sue Storm says he has a family or something like that? Or it's like, who's she referring to? It's like, it feels like it's not just a black and white kind of, obviously mustache twirling villain. I think there's going to be some depth to this. So
I hope so.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look,
It's a minute and 30
Yeah.
seconds.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
That's
totally,
true.
totally.
Very, very true. Well, guys, questions for you. Did you enjoy the teaser trailer for Fantastic Four? Has it been worth the wait, or did this leave you wanting more? Let us know what you think in the comments.
That rhymed.
Oh, thanks. Look, did it. Just right off the dome. Now, guys, we are going to get to the most important part of our show, which is talking to you and answering your comments and questions. But before we do that, we're going to take a minute to thank the people over at Hungryroot.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. You know, grocery shopping used to be one of the biggest struggles. Between your busy schedule and wanting to eat healthier, it just feels impossible to stay on top of everything. But all that changes when you discover Hungryroot, the easiest way to eat healthy without the hassles. Hungryroot is like having your own personal grocery shopper. They take care of the weekly shopping for you, recommending healthy, high-quality groceries tailored to your tastes, nutritional preferences, and even health goals. They've got it all: smoothies, snacks for the kids, ready-to-eat meals, and even supplements. For me, Hungryroot is absolutely a game changer, guys. My health goals have become so much easier to stick to. I love how they personalize my cart every week and even get smart about my preferences as I go. It's honestly stress-free and so simple. You're going to love Hungryroot as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, using the code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea.
And thank you so much to the people over at Hungryroot. I was not prepared, even though you were counting me down. I forgot. Whoops. All right, Jonathan, what do we have?
All right. In 3, 2, Chris H says, "Hey, John, busy week, so I'm behind on shows and catching up, but the Ray talking points always make my blood boil lately. You're one of the few who see it like I do. There is so much wrong with the sequels, especially episode 9, but overpowered Ray feels like it's a bad faith it's in bad faith often. No, they did so much disservice to the Ray character and most others in the sequels, but the idea that she's overpowered for no reason drives me crazy. Rewatch Star Wars, much love." So that was directed at, like, John had made the argument that, look, I mean, the first thing we see Luke doing on the Millennium Falcon is dodging lasers blind.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's piloting his X-Wing, which he already is a good pilot, but he's never piloted an X-Wing in a space battle. And he used the Force because Obi-Wan's like, "Use the Force, Luke." Mid-Atlantic's like, "Hey, use the Force, Luke."
Like there was a little Matt Berry in there.
And he's like, "I will," and he does it, and it's like, we're just like, okay, he used the Force, ding.
Yeah.
So I get some of those arguments.
For sure. Like, I mean, I'm always quick to react when someone's like, well, this character's such a Mary Sue. Okay, I just want to make sure that the male counterparts then also like don't get the same treatment. Now, are the sequels great? No. There's a lot of problems there. But I feel like there's a lot of other things to discuss other than Rey being overpowered. I feel like plot and character development as a whole is something that you can look to in those as some of the more egregious issues.
The thing is, why are they trying to duplicate the structure and the characters of the original trilogy?
Yeah.
And there is I think there is a weird, insidious thing that doesn't work where all of these companies that own these IPs want the new stuff. There's this thought that, oh, we have to make it new for the new. We have to capture the new kids today. You know, we have to bring them in and make our version of whatever it is, the version of whatever it is.
And it was almost to a T, was it not, for Force Awakens?
But the problem is you can never do that because the creators actually working on this stuff, they've been hired to do that. As opposed to like George Lucas and his team created all this from scratch. It was that vision that they were bringing to life that didn't previously exist. So when you have creators coming in to work on these properties, they didn't create those properties. So all they can do when they're mandated by a corporation to make a Star Wars movie, it's not like somebody came in and said, I've got a great idea for a Star Wars movie. And Disney's like, oh, we own Star Wars. That's a great idea. Let's unleash your vision and create something new with our IP. No, the corporation's like, we need to create more Star Wars and pitch us an idea. Like, what does a corporation know about Star Wars or storytelling at all? They don't.
Exactly.
So why aren't they bringing in people? So it's like, my mandate is to make this just like the original Star Wars. Well, you can't do that. And then look, Rey could have been they gave us two great characters. They gave us Rey and they gave us Finn. A stormtrooper with a conscience went nowhere. The character of Rey, you know, she's not bargain basement, but she's like supercharged Luke.
Yeah.
And they took us on this journey with her that's kind of the same as Luke. And then for Finn, they just did him dirty and took what could have been a great. What do you do when you suddenly are no longer, you don't believe in where you're at? You know, you were co-opted by this evil empire and you're killing civilians and you leave. Like, that was the coolest stuff when he helped Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron get away.
Right.
That was dope.
I
That's
thought
awesome.
they were alluding to the fact that he was going to be a Jedi, and not just because, well, he's another character, make him Jedi, but maybe he was force sensitive, and that's why the deprogramming didn't really work on him.
I mean, already you've made this, that idea has made the show or the movies better than ever.
Well, and that was, I know not everyone loves, you know, Last Jedi and stuff like that too, but like the promise of you're a nobody is so much more interesting than you come from a Jedi dynasty.
Right.
And I loved that idea of anyone can be force sensitive. Like, this can happen to anyone. The force doesn't choose based on bloodline and lineage.
Exactly.
It's a very
Outside of the
spiritual
prophecy.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time they've tried to science up all of this, it always kinds of convolutes
yeah,
it. It should just, it's a fantasy. Let it be a fantasy. They're all basically wizards. Let them have that.
Yeah.
And
But
then by the end, making Rey Palpatine, I'm like,
Oh, I
that's the
hated
most
it.
creatively bankrupt, stupid
hated
shit
it
I've
so
heard in my
much.
life.
I do want to just bring up, because Jonathan did address this, because in the chat someone said, no, it's different. Luke was trained, Rey wasn't. Not
Barely.
when Luke blew up the Death Star. He
No.
basically took a road trip with his old man neighbor and then learned how to use the Force.
He was on a as you've described, a big rig,
Yeah.
freighting through the galaxy. And he's like, while we're in it, let's get in the rig,
But-
and I'll show you some things.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep going to Mid-Atlantic, but
I love it.
But also, it was established. Lest we not forget. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home, and they're not much bigger than 2 meters.
okay.
So Luke using the Force, learning that, which is the big moment where he's learned a little bit about
There's
the Force.
similarities.
He's already a crack pilot.
Yeah.
He can already bullseye womp rats. He's trying to shoot the proton torpedo into the exhaust port opening. That's already the size of things he's already been shooting at. He just needed the Force to keep it on track.
Sure.
Just a little bit. And
But
But
Rey's
also,
already,
Rey
like,
didn't
scrappy.
blow. Rey didn't.
and he had Force Ghost Ben Kenobi probably there to help him
Guiding
out.
him along the way.
Give it a
He
little
just
bit of a
nudging
nudge.
him.
Little bit of a
Use
nudge.
the Force, but also let me help. But
Yeah,
also,
I mean-
Rey didn't blow up the whatever
Yeah.
that Death Star was called,
No.
Sigma Alpha 6. I have no.
But
I
the
can't
thing,
remember,
look,
but-
the thing is the credibility for me is shot with Rey when she's flying the Millennium Falcon in a way that we've, first of all, never seen it. It's like they had to amp up that scene. She's flying into a Star Destroyer and making maneuvers. Look, anybody who gets into anything to drive, a plane, whatever. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just fly it that well the first time. You have to understand, like,
Yeah,
how
there
does
was there was definitely moments. And to your point, they could have established, instead of her, like, she was a scavenger, but maybe she could have piloted like scavenger bays,
Like they
and she
should've-
knew the insides of those things, and so that's established that she knows the route to get through.
that would have been, yeah. Or she could have, you could have introduced Ray working for Plunker, what's his name? The
Yeah.
Oh,
but
the Simon
in
Pegg character?
orbit.
Yeah.
Like in orbit, like she's flying, she's a crack pilot because there's all this debris over Jakku, and that's where she's. I mean, I understand that for whatever reason, J.J. Abrams just wants to put spaceships on the ground or in the water or wherever.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them in space, but they could have done that and give it a
To
really.
establish that,
They could have had a cool opening where you come down and you see that same Star Destroyer like broken in half in space, and she could have come in with this cool. I can't read.
No, and he's like nervous because she's risking corporate like gear with her fancy flying,
right,
but you know.
yeah.
She's been doing it for years, and obviously she's force sensitive. But hey, we gotta move on. But yeah,
We all have a lot of thoughts on this too.
I just want everyone to know I own The Rise of Skywalker on 4K, and I'll never put that disc in and watch it ever.
but I don't think that was so much.
And I own it.
Mary Sue as it was lazy writing.
No,
because
that's
you could
exactly
add
what I'm
a backstory
saying.
to any of that.
That's when people give me just that blank statement, it's a great. Now back it up for me. I just need you to give me all the things like we just talked about. Right? That's my big issue when everyone's
Because
like,
even if people say, just real quick, my final thought anyway, is, oh, well, he went and saw Yoda. He failed and he left. And then when we see him in Return of the Jedi, he just trained himself in a cave. And suddenly he
Yeah.
took over Jabba's palace.
well, all those one-handed like headstands and
That's true.
push-ups.
that gets to you.
That,
All right.
that changes a man.
Problematic BWL. Is it just me? Yes. Seems like the Temple of Doom is the only indie movie where almost the entire movie is one long story arc of cause and effect from beginning to end, whereas all the other movies have at least one or two unaccounted for time geography jumps. Thoughts? It does pretty much take place in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bangkok Palace.
Yeah, it's in the one place.
Yeah. I agree, but I think they were also going for that. It was supposed to be just like mishap after mishap.
Yeah.
That was the vibe of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I liked it.
There
I
you
love
go.
Temple. I love Temple of Doom when I saw it. Loved it. Starts with the musical number. What's not to love?
Well, it wasn't even supposed to be an Indiana Jones movie, though, is part of why it does narratively feel different, is because it was narratively different and Indy was shoehorned into it.
And I love it.
Yeah. And it's actually a prequel to Raiders. A lot of people don't know that. But we got Scream Baby Scream. Have y'all heard the Scream 7 news about Matthew Lillard posting a huge teaser clue about the his return in the next movie? Yep. As a horror fan, this is testicles to the wall news. Sounds painful.
Oh, God.
Like RDJ returning type news. Can't wait for Shaggy to kill once again.
Yeah, shocking to no one, I stopped at the first Scream. So I'm confused about how Matthew Lillard comes back.
Yeah, me too. And I've seen all these Scream movies.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I love him. He's great.
he was great in that movie.
He's fantastic in that
Scream
movie.
is a great movie. Scream is it's a horror send up that also was a great horror film.
It was
wonderful.
It was also of its time so perfectly. Like
Yeah.
certain slashers from like the 80s were of its time, and Scream was a 90s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was. Deconstructing the horror movie while still being a great horror movie.
But anytime we can get Matthew Lillard on screen.
Yeah, I'm
Hell
on
yeah.
for it. All right. Juan Epstein. A few people wrote in about second screen content, and there was a misunderstanding about what it meant. The term doesn't refer to watching the content on a smaller screen. It's about background TV content while using your phone at the same time. Well, people do that, but I don't know why you would make a show that doesn't have a lot of details so that it's basically the Monet of I don't know.
It's really pretty
series
from far
making.
away, but it's gross and blotchy when
Yeah,
you get
there's
close
just not
to
much
it.
detail, so you don't have to miss much. I'm
Clueless.
like, well,
Well, then just put on Lo-Fi Girl or something like
yeah,
that.
just put on something in the background, put binge Friends and watch.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not going to yuck your yum, but I don't know why you'd like build that content.
Because then once you like, if you put your phone down, you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thoughts on dumb your content down for
I
second
wish I
screen?
met a real lo-fi girl when I was in college.
There's your
know?
thoughts.
They were everywhere.
Sorry.
Not when I was in
for-
college.
For Rob's thoughts.
I'm old.
DJ Infa says, in my Affleck Batman voice, I'm not really sure. I can't remember what he sounds like. What have you guys done with Ray? Well, you'll see Ray tomorrow, probably. Ben says, hey, John, why is Steven Spielberg never wanting to make a Star Wars movie he doesn't want the criticism, maybe. I guess money is not an issue for Disney. Do you think Sir Steven just wants to avoid the backlash when his movie sucks? I don't think it'll suck. I think it'll be great, but you have to appease so many people that are never happy. Thanks, and all the best to you and love and your loved ones.
Aw.
So what do you guys think? Why Spielberg never touched? Was it an unspoken agreement with Lucas many years ago?
I mean, I feel like why would he?
Doesn't need to.
And
Yeah,
he
because
doesn't need to, and it's his buddy's
He likes to tell his own story.
Yeah.
He likes to tell his own stories. I mean, look, I think that their team up, Raiders of the Lost Ark, is one of the great team ups of creator team ups in cinema history. You know, when that movie came out, when I first saw that, I went to a screening. It was playing before. You had to go see Excalibur first. Excalibur was playing, and then they're like, it's a public sneak of this new movie. Nobody knew what Raiders of the Lost Ark was. Even the trailer, the first trailer is like, what is this? Did they find a spaceship in the desert and they're calling it the Ark? Is Noah in it? Like, what does this mean? And it was one of the most joyous experiences I ever had in the theater, seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark with my friends.
That had to be
Because
so cool.
Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what it was. Like, we didn't know what is this? And it was not anything that we expected. And we're all like, I'd love to have that feeling again.
It was like when I got to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the most creative thing I've seen in years.
Yeah, I mean,
The most you get were like tidbits out of a magazine.
Yeah.
Like a fan magazine.
Yeah, it's because nobody knew what it was. You know, it was like you used to have experiences. Like all my friends, we went to see RoboCop to make fun of it, like RoboCop,
Right.
And then of course you go there and when Peter
nothing
Weller
like-
gets crucified by the gang, basically quote unquote crucified.
Yeah.
It's jaw dropping, and the rest of the movie was like, oh my god, you come watch. I kind of felt that way when I came out of Companion. I was like, wow,
Oh.
I really enjoyed this.
There you go.
Nice.
We got Bruce Lee Raw Jenkins. Another consequence of 30-minute trailers. Anymore is almost every showing I've been to lately. 15 minutes in the actual movie, people start swarming in. They got to time this better. It's a huge distraction and could be avoided. Typically for me, most of the people still come in like they judge there's going to be like, they get like 10, 15 minutes late and deal with it. But I don't have many like swarming in late.
I typically don't, not even at my terrible theater.
Unless
I don't have that.
they adjusted, right? They adjusted for
Yeah.
it. So like, and then there's like 5 trailers instead of 9,
Yeah.
and then they get screwed.
The only time I have that where people are running in and it's the movie's already started, or when it's the like Wednesday night previews and people didn't realize there weren't going to be trailers.
To be fair, I just imagine people running laps in the theater where you go.
Honestly, sometimes my screening of Barbie was unhinged, where these teenagers were running up and down the stairs during the movie, and my friend had to just be like, "Hey, why? Why are you the way you are?"
Bad parenting.
Yeah. The Regal NoHo is feral. Like, I don't know what's happening there after 7 p.m., but man,
Just sugar highs.
find your kids. Come on. Yeah. They're nuts. It's wild.
Imagine being that hyped during a movie. Like, go to a park.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Take a lap.
Bry Guy says, "Hey John, so sorry about your mom. We are too. Terrible, but you know he's doing better. But hopefully going to see a nice, sweet, wonderful film like Paddington, Peru, with your awesome wife and hilarious brother-in-law Ray will cheer you up. Bring on the love and support." I cannot imagine that John is not turning to movies in this time. You know, because it is a not just that you want to be distraction, but it's also a way of you to kind of like subconsciously heal, but like not be consciously like suffering. So I know that John's probably turning to films, and I know Anne is with him too, and all that.
Which is
so,
good. Well, and, that's the beautiful thing about movies and art in general, right? Is that is a vessel of vulnerability that allows you to experience emotions in a really safe way. And so whatever you're feeling, you can kind of push through that medium and work out how you're doing.
There you go. Link has a 3-parter here. Link says, "I also want to recommend." So he must have recommended something maybe on the open mic or something. But
Okay.
I also want to recommend Solo Leveling to anyone who's a fan of Dungeons and Dragons games. In my opinion, one of the best shows on Amazon or Crunchyroll, currently in season 2. Dungeons with monsters appear in modern day and only awaken ones can explore and kill them. The twist is that once you awaken, you can't change the level you've awakened with. The protagonist, an F rank weakest level, tries to navigate dangerous dungeons in an effort to find a way to cure his sick mother and not die. Beautiful cinematography, amazing fight choreography, good character development, very well written. I find myself rewatching some episodes immediately after they air because they're so emotionally inducing. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Solo Leveling.
This sounds great.
I don't know if it's
Wow.
animated or not, but
Dang. I'd watch the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
have to check it out.
and I still have to see this. What is it? Something Chinatown.
Interior Chinatown.
Interior Chinatown. and
Great.
Stuff. I know that's not Dungeons and Dragons, but just like trippy, like
Yeah.
Cool.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
I started the book too.
Nice.
I really like it.
I'm starting to read the novels for the Silo trilogy.
Ooh,
the
fun.
Wool, Dust, and
I just gave
the
Elizabeth
third
Wool
one.
to read.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Cool. Ryan says Companion was fantastic. Did you get a chance to check it out? I would love to know your thoughts, Rob. I mean, I loved it too, but go for it.
Loved it. No, I really loved it. I thought, look, we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
At scale, it's not a apocalyptic world-ending story, but for what it was, I thought it was really clever. It was really fun. It had great twists and turns. It had great performances. It was beautifully photographed. It was hilarious, and it had some gore and it had some great deaths in it. I love the hell out
I
of
did
that
get
movie.
I did get a little Ex Machina feel, a little cheeky Ex Machina feel.
Yep. I mean,
That's a great
definitely different. But it's really interesting. I mean, we're gonna live in that world, and I have to tell you, I kind of, the main protagonist, I wouldn't mind having her as a girlfriend. I mean, so what if she's a robot?
What a brave thing of you to say.
Thanks. She seemed okay to me.
Are you gonna level her intelligence to 100 though?
Hell, yeah, that would be the first thing I would
There
do.
you go.
Ooh.
Level her up to. Are you kidding? She would. I mean, I could take her to Vegas. What should I bet on, baby? She'd playing blackjack. She'd always tell me what to hit. If I had 2 6s, she'd go split those up. And,
Rank up for self defense too, so she
Yeah.
can protect you.
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then she'd have intelligent, cogent discourse after all the movies I'd make her watch. Be fantastic.
Obi Amin Kenobi says, John, I'm sorry to hear about your mother's passing. Please receive my deepest condolences. Forward them to your siblings and extended family. Indeed, the world feels lackluster when you lose a parent. I share your pain from experience. Blessings. Thank you, Obi-Wan.
that was
Obi
very
Amin, I
sweet.
should say. Garden Variety Vagabond says, John, have you seen the Pat Riley trademark, or that have you seen that Pat Riley trademarked the term three-peat and a bunch of variations so people can't maneuver around it? So if merchandise is created with that phrase, Riley gets 5% royalty. Genius. He banked from Yankees, Bulls, and Yankees. Maybe even Dodgers someday. What do you think about that? Three-peat is coined by
Wow. I mean, I guess I can't say that
Pat
anymore.
Riley. Well, you can't make money off it. You can say it.
I guess you can say it.
You can't make money off of it.
So I can say that the Rise of Skywalker is not a three-peat?
Yes.
Good.
C3P. Oh. Something like that. Yeah, you can't use that. He'll charge you. Drew Yepson says, hey, Campy Crew, big fan and much love. I have been watching since AMC days, and thank you for being a part of my daily routine. As a huge Cubs fan, I'm shocked that there's not been a film made about the 2016 World Series win. I'm hoping it comes soon. I could see them doing like a documentary, and I'll tell you, Ken Burns, I know you guys know Ken Burns, and he did baseball.
Yeah.
And he did a 10th inning, which was like an extension through like 90 something. He's due for another like 11th inning extension on the history of baseball. And I could see him covering that topic. I don't know if the cast of characters is interesting enough to warrant a movie. The event was crazy, but
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I don't know if there's enough drama there. I mean,
Yeah.
winning the World Series is pretty dramatic,
Yeah.
but the lead
But
up
the
to
lead
it,
up to it, yeah.
it was not. I mean, it wasn't out of the ordinary. It was a baseball season. It's just it was the Cubs.
Right. That's what was crazy. And then same could be said about the Kings winning their Stanley Cup when Gretzky came.
Yeah.
And then they finally won. I mean, that could be a cool story too. But anything could be made if you can draw us into the characters. Then you can make a movie about the first Air Jordan, and it'll be great.
And it was
And
great.
it was.
Yeah. So it's possible.
You can make a movie about Tetris,
It
and it's like a spy thriller.
It should have a Buffy vibe. Mexico Valley's Jose says, "Hey guys, am I just the villain on this show?"
If
Mexico
you live
Valley,
long enough,
check. Hey guys, watching you on a daily basis. You generally have a place in my life. You all,
Aw.
thank you, my dear John. Peace for you and your family. All things transcend, but may the love and the loving memories live forever. Warm thoughts and a big hug, amigo. Thank you, Jose. I know that he appreciates that.
That's really sweet.
Captain West says, watch the new in-car camera views from the NASCAR race last night on Max. It was great. A unique way to stream sports. You can pick any car and get, and get in the car and team radio. That's interesting.
That's
Oh.
amazing.
I know you're not a motorsports guy, but this is cool. But you know what? When you're in the cockpit, it's really cool. I didn't know you could do that.
That's the coolest thing I've ever
It's
heard.
very
Yeah,
neat.
that's awesome, man. They could do that for any sports then. Next thing you know, helmets will have little cameras
But
on
does
them.
that mean the opposing team can then tune in and see what the drivers are doing and what the pit crew's going to say? And
Yeah, they must. Boy, they must have a workaround for that.
how do they do that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe there's enough of a delay that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Could be
yeah.
like a minute delay or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Willy Wonka is here.
Hey.
The writer of the Aragon series, Christopher Paolini, tweeted yesterday that the Disney Plus show is still on track, but that he can't give details at the moment. Very excited to get my hopes up for 11 minutes. How do you guys feel about that Aragon series that came? I remember when it came out at my age, I'm like, man, why does this jerk get to be a famous novelist? He's like 14.
My brother was really into the books.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really read them. I finally read the first one like a couple years ago because of the movie, which was fine. I don't know. I don't have hard opinions on this one.
No. Yeah, I don't either. I
I
mean,
feel
look,
like
more power to him.
Yeah.
At least he didn't use Chat GPT to write his novel.
Wasn't around.
No.
If you
Brandon
could turn back time.
Brandon Salad says, "Hey crew, caught Companion this weekend. Absolutely loved it. The less you know, the better going into it. A wonderful film that balances lots of genres."
Agreed.
Agreed. And I didn't even know it was going to be that kind of a movie. It was a little different, but I was telling Rob yesterday, I was like, but it didn't matter. I was on board. It was great writing. There were fun characters you love to hate, and it was good.
Nice.
So there you go. $20 tip from Anonymous. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Rob, the other Rob Buck says, "Hey crew, so I've fallen down a Robin rabbit hole and realized that Spider-Man: Homecoming is what I want in my dream Robin origin. A kid being thrust into the world of superheroes and earning his spot. As much as I want it, however, I see why the DCU Batman is going to start with Damian Wayne as Robin, as it would take 20 years to get him if we started with young Richard."
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I kind of like the way they're going with it, and he's supposed to be like kind of a psychopath killer because of his mother would be
Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you kind of get
Damien's
where,
a nightmare.
yeah.
We talked so much about this when
I'm
we used to do
curious
Weekly Hero about those comics of just he's the worst.
I'm curious how he's supposed to be reeled in.
Yeah.
Does he get reeled in? I mean,
Difficultly.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It'll be good, though.
I'm really
Well,
interested to see how it pans out because that's also we've seen kind of takes on that, but a little kind of kid gloved ish, right? Like Hit Girl is a great example of like
Yes.
let's have this kid who is a superhero and is willing to kill and is willing to get their hands dirty, but we also were very unwilling to see Hit Girl in danger. And Damien, it gets really in the mix, and adults don't pull their punches after he stabs them.
Right.
no. So there you go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Seconds from Disaster says, "Hi John, as you have been here to fill a void and help many of us through difficult times. I hope we can serve the same purpose for you through this difficult time in your life. Rest in power, Mama Campea. We all love you here, John." Again, thank you so
that
much.
was very
for all
nice.
these,
It's very sweet.
these nice messages. Have you checked out The Pit? Anonymous asks. The Pit on Max, medical drama that is a cross between ER and 24. Each episode covers 1 hour of chaotic, 15-hour shift. Big emphasis on realism. It's really great.
I've only watched the first episode.
Okay.
I like it.
didn't-
I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it too. I mean, I've caught 3 episodes. Three. There's been 3. I've watched 3.
I need to watch more. I went to a really great workshop at the SAG Foundation last week, and one of my classmates is a reporter in the series. So I'm so excited to see her in it.
So cool. Oh yeah, I didn't know. So not a Brad Pitt biopic then.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
All right. I probably will check it out. David says, people always talk about how GTA fans have waited over for forever for GTA 6. I mean, try the Elder Scrolls games between Oblivion and Skyrim, and we still haven't gotten the next one. But however, they'll never understand the pain of us National Treasure fans. What is on page 47? LOL, the National Treasure movies have been my comfort movie for many years now.
Aw,
Thoughts on National Treasure?
it's fun.
It is fun. I like the National Treasure movies. What's wrong? What's up? Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they're worth revisiting.
Yeah.
Go back, especially right now.
Like
Go back.
redo it?
Oh no, like go watch it. Everyone should go watch it.
Hey, you know who's got a new book out? Dan Brown. You know, if
Oh,
you like the Da
hey.
Vinci Code, you like those. He's got a new book.
There you go.
National Treasure is a little different from Da Vinci Code, but yeah.
It's a little different, but it's kind of the same. You know.
Same vein.
We got the Dritical Thinker. Rob, are you reading the ISOM comics? ISOM.
I have the first. You know what? So that's the Rippaverse comics. You know, Eric July's comic. I have the first one, but I have not. I have not. I feel bad. I have not. I admire what he did. How he put his own money. For those of you who don't know, he put his own money, made a 96-page graphic novel, then sold it direct to his fan base, and made $3.5 million. That is some entrepreneurial spirit right there.
Damn.
And but I haven't gotten any more than the first.
Cool. Anonymous says, is the Michael biopic ruined? And I saw that they might jump the gun and make it a 2-parter. I mean, we know that they've
Wicked?
They've had to stop, they had to pull I don't know if they pulled the trailer. It didn't even get to that point.
No.
But they realized that they cannot cover the lawsuit of that child. So I mean, it bookends the film. It starts and ends with it.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? It's definitely got to be on pause for a little retooling.
You know, I don't know what they're gonna do.
In some ways, I feel bad because it's like, well, we didn't want it whitewashed and oh, everything was great, nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was never any controversy.
I was really.
So it's like there's that, but then the family themselves are like, well, you can't talk about it. So it's like, man, what do they do?
Yeah.
I'm very curious as to see how they handle this.
It is
Yeah.
still such a legal goof. I'm still so confused how
know.
that all happened.
I don't know either.
It's
Woof.
a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Mhm.
This is why you have a legal department. But,
Yeah.
Okay. Santa D says, I think the F4 are famous scientists, adventurers, and then we see them get their powers in first steps. I think they already have their powers.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's pretty clear that they
They
already have
already-
their
yeah.
powers.
Yeah.
Well, this was from yesterday, I believe, too, before we got to see
Oh,
the
yeah,
teaser.
yeah.
So, hey, you were not on the money, but that's okay.
Yeah. Sam Fisher says, it's really interesting. We saw Sue, Ben, and Johnny's powers, but not Reed's. It really feels like Sue might be the leader of the team, which I'm okay with, but the trailer was fantastic. Even if, to me, it didn't have any big pop moments. I felt like the Galactus was a pop moment.
Yeah.
But I did notice that. Reed Richards, we didn't see him as Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic.
Or Mr.
sorry.
Fantastic.
They
yeah.
might still be working on those effects.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know,
good point.
and those effects have to be pretty damn good. Maybe they just didn't have an effect shot they
Yeah.
wanted to use yet.
Because that is one that always has looked pretty goofy.
You know what?
Yeah, yeah.
They should have just had it be real and just had
They should've
fake
just-
arms that they stretched over
If
everything.
Pedro Pascal was the thespian I thought he was, he would just fully commit and become Stretch Armstrong.
Well, no, I just mean
in
like
real
no
life.
CGI, just practical.
Oh, practical
So they just
arms?
slap on some slappy
put
things.
slinkies
Have
on
someone
them?
offset just pulling and that would have looked much cooler because everyone wants no CGI. I guess.
Listen, Gonzo did it in the Muppet Treasure Island movie. All right,
I
Come
think
on.
they're saving that for the
Oh,
full blown
yeah.
trailer.
I just hope he doesn't dance in any clubs.
Why was that such a big thing?
I'm
And
angry.
by big thing,
I'm
I mean
angry
it was
that
in
I
two
brought
Marvel
that up.
movies.
I'm literally angry
Why
that I
did
brought
you
it
do
up.
that?
I pissed my own self off. Okay, Entertainer Nerd 89 says, "Hello, John and crew. I'm going to say straight off the bat, the most anticipated movie of the year for me was the Fantastic Four is no more. I don't even want to acknowledge it. Ben Grimm looks absolute trash, mid, not even sub mid, and sounds even worse. Simply not interested.
Okay.
Don't see
Well,
it. It doesn't offend me, and your opinion is just as valid as mine.
yeah.
But I always want to know when someone says that, what did they like? What are they comparing it to?
Mm-hmm.
Are you comparing it to the comic book? Where
I think almost comparing it to their own expectations, but also we've seen a lot of promo material.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you
If
gotta
it
do
doesn't
what you
work
gotta
for
do,
you, it
man.
doesn't work for you, man.
Yeah, I respect that. I'd never force you to go.
That's a bummer.
Your name says, too bad most movies don't get the popcorn bucket treatment. If Companion had one, would it be Iris's head so moviegoers can imagine having their own emotional support fembot? But that would be really creepy to have
no.
this
Yeah.
decapitated head.
No.
Yeah, no.
No,
By the way, if
thank
there's
you.
a Fantastic Four bucket, what do you think it's going to be?
I hope it's Herbie.
Oh,
If
that would
it
be
was
dope.
Herbie, I'd buy one.
I'd
That'd be
buy
so
it.
dope.
I'd
Oh,
buy
it's the
it.
same thing, yes.
Yeah. I'd love it.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking now, I was thinking the obvious is probably Galactus's head,
Yeah.
but honestly, Kirby's head would be really cool.
Herbie would be so
But
cute.
Galactus'
I love
head would be
him.
good too.
Yeah.
Because you know why? I hunger.
Yeah.
And then you got your popcorn
You
right
got your
there.
popcorn bucket.
Boom. Boom. Sells itself.
Done.
Yeah, no, Iris,
And it's
Iris
an
doesn't get
actual-
decapitated.
His head
I'm,
is an actual bucket. You can stick your hand in the top.
Patrick, I'm not saying Iris gets decapitated. I'm saying it'd be really weird to have a lifelike human head as a popcorn bucket. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like with Galactus, you just have the helmet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kirby's
and
a
it look cool.
robot. So, L.C. Williams Jr. Hey, crew, I was watching some old Howard Stern, and he was talking about James Caan, about how before Christopher Reeves, Marlon Brando really, really, really wanted James Caan to play Superman. My mind was blown. I don't know about that. I love James Caan, but I don't see him as Superman.
As Superman?
Yeah, he's a little too old.
Not as Lex Luthor?
Hey, get over here. Get
Yeah.
over here. I got something to say to you. That's my
Can
James
you imagine
Caan
the
as
Can You Read My
Superman.
Mind scene with James Caan?
James Caan played Jonathan E. in Norman Jewison's Rollerball in 1975, and he was kind of a Superman in that movie. And he had a costume
Why?
with, instead of an S, with a 6 on it, because he played for Houston. Have you ever seen Rollerball?
No.
It's one of the greatest sports movies ever made.
Why is there a 6 for Houston? I'm from Houston. What is
6.
that?
He was number 6 on
Oh,
the team.
okay.
That was
Sorry,
his
I was like,
number.
how is that relevant?
Because
to...
Houston is the energy city in Rollerball after the corporate wars.
Oh.
It's gonna be like walk up to
If
Lex.
you haven't seen Rollerball, what is, you know what?
Rollerball's- Yeah.
Would you be surprised to know that I have Rollerball?
you have it on 4K?
I do. I have it on 4K.
doesn't
I have it
surprise
on
me.
Blu-ray. You can buy it, borrow it in multiple formats.
I like that you first said buy. You
can
can
buy
buy
it.
it.
You can buy it because you can't borrow mine. I don't lend my discs to anybody.
He's gonna walk up to Lex and be like, "Oh, we got a big boy here, huh? Launching rockets. You got to get up close and pow. That's a real man."
But now I want that movie.
Man, if nobody's seen The Godfather, they're not gonna get what I just did.
It's so
That's
great.
okay.
It's so
That's
great.
all right.
Craig of
You
Georgia.
can blow it all on your nice Ivy League suit.
Ivy League suit. Craig of Georgia says, "Hey there, Campea crew. I was wondering if any of you, especially John or Robert, not Chris, has seen Farscape, and if so, what were your thoughts? Heard many people mention it. It was my favorite when it was airing on TV. Thanks, crew. We'll get to the second one, but so there's that. So, yeah, fans.
Have we seen
Farscape.
Farscape?
Come on, dude.
Come on.
Really?
Especially John and Rob. I'm obsessed with the Muppets, and you don't think I've seen a space show that has Muppets in it?
A space
You
show that
joshing
has a female spaceship.
Claudia Black is in it too, and she's incredible. Come
Yes,
on.
she is.
Come on.
Claudia Black is
outstanding.
incredible. Outstanding.
I love that show so
And
much.
okay, want me to tell you Gigi Edgley's story?
Yes.
Yes.
So Gigi Edgley and I and Richard Hatch were the guests of honor at a Fort Collins, one of my favorite conventions I was ever invited to, in Fort Collins, Colorado. And we all got hammered. They took us out. And we all they have great. Somebody told me they have like 300 distilleries in the greater area where around Fort Collins.
Ooh.
And Gigi Edgley and I were going back, and we were outside the hotel talking. She goes, "I have to have a bit of a wee," and she went behind a tree and weed.
Aw.
And because she's from Australia, she's
Yeah.
but she's still I loved her so much. She was great. But that's my Gigi Edgley story hanging out.
That's
you know.
fantastic.
And she looked great in Farscape. She was great. I loved her makeup. She was
Wonderful.
awesome.
The show is fabulous.
Wonderful story.
Moya. I mean, you have a female. You know what I like? You're in a spaceship where you're actually inside a woman the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
Craig
Rob.
of Georgia follows up, says, "Also wondering your thoughts on the show Andromeda, another great space TV show, in my opinion. John, not Chris. I know how you feel about anime, but if you haven't seen Lensman, you should, if you have time. Very Star Wars to me. I vote John Hamm for the new DC Batman." Oh, I slid that one in there.
I used to have a great
Andromeda. What do we got?
Andromeda. That's Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda, which the Fall of the Federation, which is I like Andromeda. I had friends that worked on Andromeda. Zach Stentz and Ashley Miller worked on Andromeda.
Any stories about them?
When did they wee?
Yeah, did they?
All the time.
Oh, good for them.
And also Lensman's great too. I used to have a great it was from Japan, obviously, a great Japanese Lensman toy, and I don't know what happened to it. I think it might have been in my stores.
Whoa, dude, was in the store. Oh man, that's such a sad story. When I
So sad.
Ace says this July has Fantastic Four, Superman, and the new Jurassic World movie releasing. That is a crazy month for movies.
It sure is.
It's pretty stacked.
It'll be
Pretty
fun.
stacked.
My A list will be used. Monkey Tongue says, with the Fantastic Four teaser shown off today, how does the whole crew feel about Galactus and the fact that he's not a giant space cloud?
Love it.
Ecstatic.
I love that he's not a fart in the galactic wind.
No, I mean, and he looks well, at least his
helmet.
shadow.
Back
Yeah.
in the
He
shadow.
looks just like Kirby's Galactus, the way he should be.
So I what I want to get out of this film, I hope we get is, because you talk about Kirby, I want that flash, the imagery, like how I feel like they got close to that with the first Doctor Strange. It was very trippy, and people are like, "Wow, this is something
yeah.
new."
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I got a
Something
question.
like that.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the Fantastic Four is supposedly it takes place in a alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Right?
inside the body of a woman. but
Is
okay.
the shot of Galactus
Inside the
in
body.
New York? It looked like because you see the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Is that our world? Is that the MCU's is 616?
No, it's not 616.
Or is it
that could
the
be
shot of Galactus? Is that shot our world?
So you're saying
or
like
is it alternate universe super science 60s? Because with the Baxter Building, it looked like it was our New York.
not to me, because I looked at those skyscrapers and
Okay.
they looked very 60s
I
style.
was gonna say,
I didn't. I only looked at it small,
If
so
you-
I haven't seen it blown
I
up.
wish I
It
still
could
had the
it could
image.
be either, obviously.
me see.
But we also have Reed is the chalkboard that he's working on does have stuff about
Okay, I have it here.
multi-dimensional travel on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like
So if you look here, that's still like the skyline of sort of the 60s.
Okay.
But then look in the foreground here. These like round discus style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
buildings.
that
So I think
looks-
that's there still.
But what about when? Yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay.
yeah, so I think it's their universe.
And then
And
let
then
me see,
that
'cause
that's
there's-
maybe the threat of why they come into 616.
Here's the other shot you were talking about. I mean, it's obviously not 616 because there's not a cap shield instead of the whatever, which I think that was stupid. But anyway,
But this even
I think this is still
Okay.
their world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I just had a thought just now. I thought I'd throw it
Yeah.
out to the crew.
No, I
see
think
what you
that's
guys
are you
awesome.
thought.
thinking like this is like third act possibly where like he crossed over into the 616?
Yeah.
Could be. But I think that's still there.
That's a possibility.
Skyline.
I also think a lot of stuff from this, we talked about this back in the day too. That Full Circle comic that Alex Ross did. I'm already getting a little bit of those vibes too, just because of the very like
Yes.
atomic 1960s
Yes.
flavor, but
Totally.
particularly all those images of like the kids running around the TVs and everything just seems very Alex Ross
Yep.
coded.
Very much
Oh, yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Lord Helmet. F4 going a Jetsons route has me thinking about a potential X-Men universe world. Something reminiscent of the civil rights era feels right, as the mutant allegory was Stan Lee's way of commenting on civil rights issues throughout the decades. Thoughts? I agree with him in terms of like you'd have to move it up from World War II to like maybe the 60s or even the early 70s when it was still these events were still taking place. But I don't know that we need to be like another universe in a world that's 70s style where this is 60s style. Like
Yeah.
that becomes too repetitive.
I completely understand the sentiment here,
Mm-hmm.
but also you can do so much with Magneto too, of like he still could have gone through everything he went through in the 1940s.
Yeah.
And he can just have a very long life, and we can be working with that. That's happened in the comics before as well. And Nazis are always a fantastic bad guy. They are always someone you can root against, and I feel like that is a really, really great core part of the X-Men franchise. Not only like just the civil rights movement and how it has been just about marginalized groups in general, but I feel like that was really a core part of who Magneto is, of seeing pure evil and how you react to that treatment of humanity and the atrocities committed against peoples.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I love the X-Men. I don't know how they're going to bring them into the MCU, but I'm curious now.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep dabbling with it on the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Marvel's a mutant.
Right. So we have like 4 or 5 here. So actually we can get through all of these today. F4 go no. Save Legends of Tomorrow says so. A
Aw.
Buffy reboot wasn't just talk, yay! But I wonder if the comics will be canon. Emma Caulfield's return might be a clue, as Anya's resurrection was a big plot point in them. And will Spike and Angel return as humans or CGI de-aged vampires?
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
me neither.
Yeah, the vampire Nosferatu.
Oh man, love Emma Caulfield though. So
Only
not
because it says reboot and not like a continuation or sequel. I suppose they could.
But if
They
it's a
can
reboot,
choose.
how do they justify Sarah Michelle Gellar coming back
As
as,
the
Buffy?
thing, I mean, maybe they're rebooting from where it continued on from the comics post series or Angel. like Angel never took place or whatever. Or maybe they're just saying reboot, but they really just mean a sequel.
Yeah. It's like Frasier.
Is it some?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just licensing stuff.
They're just going to a different city.
Yeah.
JICC says, they say the job of teasers, trailers should be to move the needle from less excited to more excited. F4 first steps teaser succeeded for me. I went from a 4, let's see how word of mouth is, to a 7. I'd probably check it out in the first week of release.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily day one, but I rarely go day one for a lot of movies just because I like to go in. It's like a little more chill.
Yeah.
Although I am doing day one for Cap 4 just because I just decided why not. But I'm definitely in the first week. I mean, I'm seeing this thing
For
like,
sure.
for, like first couple days.
I'll
But
probably
if
be
somebody
a-
wants to give me premiere tickets, I'd go.
Yeah, I would like that very much.
Yeah,
With
for
the
sure.
schedule change, I'm going to be a day one movie person now. I can't see stuff after 8
Oh,
p.m.
Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
I can go in the morning.
I'm telling you, man, those morning movies are it's where it's at.
It's the best. I love this is the nice thing about the Regal near me. They sometimes do Saturday movies at like 9 a.m. It's the best. No one's there. I can have a hot dog for breakfast.
I've literally gone to AMC at like 8:40 or something for a movie before.
It's the best. It's so good.
Love that.
Yep.
I either like going to movies early or late.
I'm just too much of an old lady.
Yep. Well, now I'm not saying yes, but I'm just saying it's great. I was thinking
You
in
can say
terms
yes.
of like
You can say yes.
I'm older than you, so. Which trailers did you think was better? Anonymous asks. Superman or Fantastic Four? I personally think the Superman trailer was much better in terms of emotion and anticipation. Hot take, I'm more hyped for Superman than F4. And I think for good reason. I think Superman was meant to be a look up. There's a sea change here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, they're both teasers. They both interested me. You know, and I'm looking forward to seeing both movies.
Same.
Anonymous, this is our final question. First teaser for Final Destination Bloodlines. Wow, what an original title has dropped. I've honestly missed this franchise. I'm so in. Are you guys into Final Destination? I know Chris is not.
I mean, listen, that first Final Destination, though, ruined all of us, where if you're behind a large semi-truck carrying anything, you're like, well, this is how I die. All that lumber's going to roll off and murder me.
They you know, the Final Destination franchise is a fun franchise. You know, I've always thought it was fun. The idea that there's something weird, there's something almost cosmic horror about fate. Like you were fated to die, but if you didn't die, that the tumblers of the universe are going to come get you.
Right.
I always like that. I mean, bringing out, I love that Bloodlines is like the most unoriginal title in the whole world. There's been a Hellraiser Bloodline. There's everything has had a Bloodlines in it, so that's all right. There's even a show called Bloodlines.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think the Final Destination franchise is fun.
It's very fun.
And
good
the thing
time.
is, it's really a franchise that exists to creatively kill people. And it's kind of like, you know, I don't actually kill people in real life, but I think about people I know being characters in Final Destination movies, and the best kills are the people that I imagine in real life. I would do that to them. So that's why I like that franchise.
Dang. Well, and Jeffrey Riddick just did really creative stuff. His first draft of that screenplay, too, is wildly different. I was really fortunate to get to, because you hooked me up with them, of doing that charity read-through of the original script, and I was blown away with how different it was.
Yeah, Jeffrey's a really talented guy, too.
And he's so nice.
He's really nice.
He's really, really sweet.
Yep.
I wish I liked horror more because the people who work in this genre are absolute dolls. Everyone who's involved in horror is so nice.
And the LA has this great horror community of people that have worked. There's a lot of people that have worked on, and they're all great.
Oh yeah, my buddies who did like trauma movies.
Oh yeah,
like they just have the best people.
They
in
get
their
together
lives.
a lot. They get together at the what is that store on Magnolia?
Dark Delicacies.
Not Dark Delicacies. Across the street from it, the big one where
Oh yeah, they have the horror trivia.
the trivia.
Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past.
Oh,
You go there and
I
they
love
have
Blast
their
from
whole-
the Past.
the people who do horror trivia, man, those guys are madmen and mad women. Those people know so much, and a lot of them become writers and professors and
You're smart cookies.
yes,
That's our show, guys. That's it.
That's it.
that's our show.
Go on,
Oh
get out of here.
man.
Why are you
Let's
still
talk
here?
about race some more.
Guys, thank you so much for being here with us on this special edition of the John Campea Show. We very much appreciate you because we can't do this without you. Otherwise, it's the three of us just kind of talking at each other.
It'd be really weird.
It'd be really weird. Yeah. So thanks for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow. Robert won't be with us tomorrow, though. He's got a lot of
No, I
work
will be
to
mixing
do.
episode 6
Nice.
Six came out. 7.
Only 5 has only come out.
Oh.
6.
Okay.
You're not in 6.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Of
Yep.
True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak, which you can go get right now at truenoir.co, and you can hear Chris Carr and her great character, Marianne Beam. That's with an E on the end.
You can hear some spicy stuff.
Spicy stuff. Yeah, Chris is in a love scene
I am.
with Michael Rosenbaum. What's not to love? You can go watch Inside of You.
Don't say
Never
it.
mind.
We're going to move
Goodness
on.
gracious. I know
Move on.
exactly where that was going to go. Jonathan, of course, will be back here because he makes sure everything happens.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I try to keep the ship together. Try to do my best, but I'll be back.
Exactly. I'll be here too. If you have any interest in voiceover, I'm gonna just shamelessly plug myself real quick. You can go to speakfriendstudio.com. I have a new class starting on February 11th, Intro to VO, where we talk about how to audition for animation, video games, and commercials, some of the sites that can get you started, and some of the equipment. So head on over to my website if you want to sign up for that. And also, please check out my podcast with the delightful Amy Newman, Two Filthy Casuals, wherever you get your podcasts.
You don't have to audition for me. You just get
buddy.
the part.
That's sweet. That proof of concept was the audition, where it was like, see, I don't suck at this job. See, I'm pretty good at this.
You know, you are very good at this, and you can hear that at truenoir.co. Subscribe to the whole series. It's 10 episodes of deliciousness. And you can get it in 2-channel stereo or 5.1.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Sexy. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.